Hello, everyone. Today, I invite you to step into a peaceful morning where the first light of day gently slips through the edge of the curtain and the young mother Tuna wakes up to the steady breathing of her little son. But behind this tranquility, there are untold things. A gap between love and challenges between trust and the fear of losing the fragile happiness they share. This is the story of Tuna Alex and a morning that seemed ordinary but could change the course of their lives. That morning, as the first light of day shimmered on the edge of the curtain, Tuna opened her eyes to the steady breathing of Henry. The little boy slept peacefully in his small crib, his soft hair catching a few strands of sunlight, his tiny hand curled up as if holding a warm dream. Tuna sat up gently, afraid of waking him. In that moment, a simple joy rose within her, like warm water, the happiness of a home, of a child's laughter, of the peace that Alex's family had planted in her heart. She touched the surface of the bamboo table. The color of the bamboo had turned honeyed with a few scratches from the passage of time, like a mark of the days that had passed. Then suddenly, memories flooded back. The supermarket aisle lit up the squeaky sound of the shopping cart, Min Alex's mother gently holding her hand, the scent of laundry detergent mixing with fresh bread. She paused before a row of children's clothes, her eyes shining like a child's. "Tuna, this outfit is for Henry. What do you think?" That sentence still felt warm in her chest. It wasn't just a gift. It was acceptance, a quiet nod that said, "You have a place here. I'll try harder," Tuna whispered, as if speaking to herself, as if promising Henry, and also sending a message to Alex. She quickly put on her old coat, slung her worn-out basket over her shoulder, and lifted Henry up, placing a soft kiss on his forehead. Outside, the early morning breeze carried the smell of damp earth from the edge of the village and the scent of freshly bloomed wildflowers. Today, she would first stop by Mrs. Tong's house to ask her to watch Henry for a bit, then head down to the taro garden by the village. A long, hard day was unfolding, but Tuna felt her heart lighten. Each taro root would be carefully dug up the dirt, clinging heavily to her hands, then placed into the basket and taken to the market. The money from the taro might not be much, but it would be enough to buy a few things for Henry. And if she measured carefully, a small gift for Alex, maybe a packet of his favorite tea or a new handkerchief. In the midst of life's struggles, the little things were enough to make this morning meaningful. Tuna smiled. She knew that as long as she kept moving forward, with all her heart, happiness would stay. Alex woke up earlier than usual. The sky was still misty, and the scent of oranges from someone's garden drifted through the window. He quickly showered, put on a light blue shirt, and stood in front of the mirror to tie his tie. Today, he had to go to the grapefruit orchard to meet Adam to finalize a contract, an important step for the upcoming harvest. But before leaving the house, he checked his phone and dialed Tuna's number, a habit that had become as regular as his heartbeat. "I miss you so much." Alex's voice was deep and warm. "Have you and Henry had breakfast yet?" On the other end of the line, the sound of the early wind and the soft rattle of a basket like a simple wooden bell. Tuna replied softly, as gentle as a caress on the forehead. "I just finished tidying up the farm and sent Henry to Mrs. Tong's. I'm getting ready to head to the taro garden." Alex laughed, a simple joy filling him up. You're amazing, my girl. Don't forget to eat breakfast. I'll pick you and Henry up in the afternoon after I'm done with work." He walked downstairs, and the smell of hot tea and toasted bread wafted from the kitchen. Min, his mother, was watering some dahlias by the porch, her silver-streaked hair glowing softly in the sun. Alex bent down to kiss her hand. "Good morning, Mom. I have to go to the office now." Min smiled warmly, her eyes crinkling like two rays of sunshine. In the afternoon, bring LYTUNA and Henry over to visit. I made lotus seed soup for the two of them. Of course, I promise, Alex said, then started the engine. The road to the grapefruit orchard stretched across fields still damp with morning dew. The orchard was a sea of green leaves, with clusters of fruit hanging heavy, their skin a pale yellow. Adam was waiting at the entrance, his sun-tanned face smiling as he waved with a familiar gesture. "Alex, perfect day for a deal, huh?" Adam laughed his English, mixed with Vietnamese, like a late-ripening grapefruit, a little clumsy but sweet. "Right day indeed." Alex shook his hand, feeling the firm grip of a seasoned farmer. They walked through the rows of grapefruit trees, discussing fruit sorting ratios, seasonal purchasing prices, and plans for transportation before the next storm. Every figure was jotted down in a file, every term measured. Like picking the perfect grapefruit, it had to be round, just right, and fragrant. When he signed the contract, Alex's pen flowed smoothly across the paper. He glanced up at the canopy of leaves, the sunlight spilling in patches like lucky coins. In his mind, he pictured LYTUNA tying her basket, Henry peacefully sleeping in Mrs. Tong's arms, and his mother's kind smile. This contract wasn't just business. It was a piece that would help stabilize their home so that they could spend evenings together at Min's house without worry. Done. Adam patted him on the back. To a good season, Alex replied, putting the pen in his pocket and forming a small fist, a silent promise to himself. He left the orchard when the sun had risen higher than the trees. On his way back to the office, Alex sent a short message to LYTUNA. "It's done, love. I'll pick you up this afternoon." Mom made lotus seed soup. He felt light like the road had been swept clean by the breeze. A long day still lay ahead, but he knew where he was headed, a home with the sound of children's laughter, the warm scent of lotus soup, and a woman who spoke softly like the first light of day. Mai followed Alex like a shadow from the meeting room to the parking lot. She jotted down notes quickly, repeating tasks like a precise machine, the grapefruit delivery schedule, shipping terms, a draft contract for the new partner. Everything was neat, not a period missing. But behind that professionalism, her gaze lingered around Alex's shoulder, warm, persistent. "Alex." Mai spoke slowly, her voice dropping low, like a private whisper. "Could you give me a ride later? My car broke down, and I've been calling the mechanic, but can't reach him." Alex froze for a moment, his hand still on the car key. LYTUNA's voice echoed in his head. "I'll pick you and Henry up after work this afternoon." Min had made lotus seed soup today, simple yet warm. Alex opened his mouth, but didn't respond. "If you stay silent, I'll take it as a yes," Mai said, biting her lip and glancing at him quickly. "I'll call my mom to make dinner. It's close by, won't take long." Her words fell like ink on a still-drying page. Alex swallowed a sigh. He didn't want to be rude, but he didn't want anything vague between them either. All right, but I'll only stop by for a minute. I'm picking up someone later. Got it. Mai tilted her head, her got it soft as a pillow. On his screen, a message from LYTUNA flashed. I'm done early, waiting at Mrs. Tong's. Henry's sleeping peacefully. His heart softened a gentle lull. My Alex spoke, trying to keep his voice friendly, yet firm. I'll drop you off at your gate and leave right after. I'm picking up family today. Mai smiled, her little fang-like teeth peeking out. I know. Don't worry. With her, Alex wasn't just a boss. He was the answer to a space she didn't want to leave empty. In the car, Alex glanced at the empty passenger seat. Mai's notebook lay open a corner, showing hurriedly scribbled words. His schedule, Wednesday pickup Tuna Min. He closed the notebook, a quiet discomfort and pity rising within him. His phone buzzed, a picture of Henry, sleeping with his lips puckered, sent by LYTUNA. Below the picture, drive safely. I'm waiting. The car rolled through 2 turns. Mai's street was bathed in sunlight, a few hanging orchid pots swaying in the breeze. Alex parked close to the edge. Mai opened the door, stepped out, then turned back, her hand lightly clutching the door frame as if to hold on. Alex, her voice was slow. I know you're a kind person. I am too. It's just, they say, if you're with someone long enough, you become family. I hope that one day, you'll look at me differently. Her words fell not loudly, but creating ripples on the water's surface. Alex kept his hand on the wheel, eyes still on the road. Mai, you're a great assistant. I appreciate that. But boundaries are boundaries. Today and in the days to come, I don't want anyone misunderstanding. The wind swept through, brushing away the scent of fresh sunlight. Mai bit her lip, took a step back, and closed the door. I understand, she said. Then, as if remembering, she leaned down to the car window. Drive safely. And thank you. Alex nodded. He lightly pressed the gas pedal, the car heading toward the outskirts. Late afternoon, the clouds gathered into a thin gray strip over the village. At Mrs. Tong's house, LYTUNA tied her scarf and stood by the porch, looking down the winding road. Mrs. Tong held Henry softly, singing the scent of freshly cooked rice mingling with the smell of lemon leaves. Alex's message came, I'm on my way. Don't go outside alone, it's about to rain. LYTUNA smiled a small, warm smile. She didn't know that a small wave had just settled in the city. She only knew that every time she thought of Alex, her heart felt as bright as a lantern on the porch. Outside, the rain began to fall light as a greeting. Alex's car turned into the village road, its headlights sweeping across the glistening water. Amid the sound of rain, he felt his heart strangely clear. At the end of this road was LYTUNA holding Henry and waiting his mother's lotus seed soup and the peace he wanted to hold on to. As soon as they stopped in front of the porch, Henry began babbling to call his dad with round, cheerful sounds, his little hands tapping the air like beating a drum. LYTUNA lifted him up, her smile lighting up her whole face. Alex opened the car door, arms wide to take Henry. The little boy leaned into his chest, chattering like a baby bird. Our son is so good today, Alex pretended to scold, then bent down and blew on Henry's belly. The boy burst into a giggle, his laughter bursting out like raindrops breaking apart. But Bo too. Na stood beside them, her eyes sparkling. She reached up and gently stroked Alex's wet hair from the rain. "You should go inside and change before you catch a cold. I'll start the fire." In the kitchen, the straw fire cast warm orange streaks across the wooden walls. LYTUNA washed the water spinach she picked from the vine and added a handful of perilla leaves that still smelled fresh. Alex held Henry next to him, an unwilling helper in the kitchen. "Chef, what's my task? Can you slice the pork belly for me to braise with ginger tuna?" asked softly. Alex laughed, one hand holding the knife, and the other keeping Henry snug in the baby carrier across his chest. Henry babbled along each time the knife hit the cutting board. Boo, like keeping rhythm. The fire crackled softly. The old rice pot bubbled. The scent of ginger and fish sauce filled the air, blending with the damp, earthy smell of the rain. "Call your mom too," Nia reminded gently as the evening settled in quickly, like pulling down a curtain. "It's getting late." Alex nodded and dialed the phone. On the other end, Min's voice was warm, like a freshly poured cup of tea. He spoke slowly and clearly. "Mom, I'm sorry. The rain has made the roads slippery and it's too late. I'll stay here at the farm with LYTUNA and Henry tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'll bring them to visit you." On the other side, Min chuckled kindly. "I understand. Staying over is good, keeps the little one warm. Don't forget to cover him with a blanket. Come home early tomorrow to have breakfast with me." "Yes, Mom. Sleep well." Alex hung up, turning to LYTUNA. "Mom said we'll come by tomorrow. She's waiting for breakfast together." LYTUNA nodded, her eyes full of gratitude and peace. The meal was set on the familiar bamboo table, a steaming pot of water spinach soup, a plate of fried eggs with green onions, and a pot of pork belly braised with ginger. Henry sat in a small wooden chair, watching the adults eat, while babbling Bobo, reaching for a wooden spoon to tap with. Alex tore off a piece of braised fish, blowing on it to cool, and gently dipped it for LYTUNA. "Eat, you've had a long day." LYTUNA placed her chopsticks down, paused for a moment, and then smiled. "With you home, everything feels a little warmer." After eating, they spread a mat on the porch. The rain fell softly, like threads tapping the banana tree leaves with a gentle rhythm. Alex carried Henry outside to watch the fireflies flicker in the garden, telling him stories about the grapefruits he just signed a contract for about the upcoming harvest. Henry caught a few words, responding with Bobo, making Alex laugh so hard he nearly tipped over. LYTUNA leaned against the door, wrapping her arm around Alex's elbow as he came back inside his shirt, still smelling of rain and wind. "I feel so at ease with you here," she whispered, almost afraid to disturb the night. "I feel the same," Alex replied, holding her hand, the warmth of the kitchen still in his fingertips. "Our home is right here." They rocked Henry to sleep in the wooden crib. The little boy quickly drifted into a gentle snore, his lips still mumbling as if finishing his Bo story. Alex pulled the blanket up over him and closed the window to block the wind. LYTUNA cleaned the dishes, the soft clink of her movements echoing through the quiet. Then they sat together at the bamboo table, no need for words. Outside, the rain fell steadily, like a slow song. Alex placed his hand on LYTUNA's small notebook, where she had written tomorrow's tasks. Water the gourd vines in the morning. Gather the taro. Visit Mom. He added a note, the handwriting slanting slightly, and have breakfast together. Tuna looked at the words, nodded her eyes bright as a small flame just fed with more oil. The night at the farm wrapped them in its blanket of rain. The scent of straw ginger and baby milk mixed together, creating a rare sense of peace. Tomorrow would likely be busy again with trips and numbers to manage. But in this moment, sitting in the corner of the wooden house, with the steady breathing of Henry, they knew they were in the right place, right where love, like the earth beneath their feet, would always stay.
Trong cơn gió nhẹ khẽ luồn qua mái hiên lay động mấy tán lá ngoài sân rừng gió.